1. Introduction. My name is Stacy. I am 28 years old. My life is simple, but it is also very hard. I live in a small town. This town is quiet, and not much exciting ever happens here. Everyone knows each other, which means there are no secrets. My small house is old, and it often needs repairs. I constantly worry about finding money for these unexpected costs. Every day, my routine is exactly the same. I wake up very early, often before the sun starts to rise. I quickly prepare a simple breakfast, usually just toast and coffee. Then, I walk to the bus stop, waiting for the Old Town bus. It takes me to the small coffee shop where I work. I work 10 hours a day, from early morning until late evening. My job is to serve coffee, make sandwiches, and clean tables. Some customers are kind, but others are not. At the end of each long day, my feet ache and my whole body feels tired. The money I earn from my job is not much. It is very hard to manage with such a low income. I have many debts, and they create constant pressure. My biggest problem is my student loans. I went to college for a few years, hoping to get a good job and a better future. But now, these loans are a heavy weight on me. I think about them all the time, even when I am trying to sleep. This constant stress makes it very difficult to relax or feel truly happy. I often feel exhausted, not just from working, but from the endless worry. I often dream of a completely different life. I imagine a life where I am free from all my debts. I want to travel to exciting new places and see the world, not just my small town. I want to wake up without the stress of bills and sleep without the worry of what tomorrow brings. These dreams feel very far away, almost like they belong to someone else, not me. But I hold on to one small hope. Every single week, I buy a lottery ticket. It costs only a small amount of money, perhaps $2, but it gives me a huge dream. I know that winning the lottery is very rare. Most people never win. Still, I buy one ticket each week without fail. I carefully choose my numbers, or sometimes I let the machine pick them for me. After I buy the ticket, I keep it safely in my wallet. Sometimes, when I am alone, I take it out and look at the numbers. I close my eyes and imagine what I would do if I won a lot of money. I think about buying a new house, helping my family, or going on a long, exciting trip. This small dream gives me a moment of peace and a break from my difficult reality. It helps me to continue working hard and hoping. 2. A lucky day. It was a Friday night. I sat at my small kitchen table, holding my old phone and my lottery ticket. My hands shook a little. I started to check the numbers, comparing them to the screen. The first number matched, then the second, then the third, fourth, fifth, and finally the sixth. All 6 numbers were the same. My eyes opened wide. I blinked once, then again. It could not be real. I checked a third time very slowly and carefully. Every number matched perfectly. I had won the jackpot, $5 million. The number was huge, impossible to believe. A loud scream came out of my mouth. I started to laugh and cry at the same time, unable to control my feelings. My whole body was shaking. It was too good to be true. I quickly called my best friend. Her voice was sleepy at first, but when I told her the news, she screamed too. We both jumped and shouted with joy over the phone. We talked for a long time. After the first big wave of happiness, a new question came to my mind. What happens now? My life had changed in just one moment. Everything felt different. The next morning, I went to the lottery office. My legs felt weak. They checked my ticket and then smiled. They told me it was real. I was a millionaire. Me, Stacy, who always worried about money. The news spread quickly in our small town. My phone started ringing and did not stop. People I had not heard from in years called me. Old friends, new friends, and people who had ignored me before. Everyone wanted to talk. They smiled at me more. Some even asked for money. Others said they had missed me so much. I felt happy, but also scared and overwhelmed by the attention. I felt trapped. I thought about this for many days and nights. I wanted a new start, a quiet beginning. I decided to leave the small town. I would move to a big city, a place where no one would know my story. There, I could be just me, not the lottery winner. It was a very big decision, but it felt right in my heart. The $5 million meant a chance to leave behind the old worries and the sudden, unwanted attention. It was time for a new chapter, a new life, far away from the past. 3. A new start. My new life began in the city. I rented a nice apartment. It was not too big, but it was perfect for me. The city was very different from my quiet old town. There were many bright lights and new sounds. Cars moved quickly on the busy streets below. Everything felt fast and exciting. For the first time, I felt truly happy and free. This new place felt like home. I started to buy new things for my apartment and myself. I bought new clothes for my new city life. I also bought a new phone and new furniture for my rooms. It felt good to buy things without worrying about money. I could choose anything I wanted. I felt proud of my new home and my new choices. This was a wonderful feeling of independence. Every day, I liked to explore the city. I visited art galleries, looking at paintings. I found new coffee shops. I tried different restaurants, tasting new foods. I also walked in the big city parks. Everything was new and exciting. I enjoyed discovering new places and meeting different people. I was building a new world for myself. One evening, I decided to go to a charity event. It was a big party in a beautiful hall. Many rich people were there, wearing beautiful clothes. The music was soft. I felt a little nervous because it was a new experience. But I was also happy to be there. I wanted to meet new people in my new city. At the event, I met a man named Stephen. He was very handsome. He was tall and looked confident. He wore a nice black suit. His smile was bright and his teeth were white. He walked over to me and started to talk. He spoke to me like I was the only person in the room. This made me feel special. He told me he was a businessman. He asked me about myself and listened carefully. He said he liked my smile. I felt my face turn red and I smiled back. He was very charming and easy to talk to. We talked for a long time. After that evening, Stephen and I started to see each other often. It felt like my new life was truly beginning. 4. I fall in love. Stephen began to take me to many wonderful places. We visited fancy restaurants where the food was like art. We went to exciting parties filled with music and laughter. He always made sure I felt comfortable and happy. He often brought me beautiful flowers, like red roses or colorful tulips. Sometimes he gave me small, thoughtful gifts, such as a soft silk scarf or a book by my favorite author. He paid attention to everything I said. He looked at me with kind eyes and always had a warm smile. He would often say, "Stacy, you are truly special. Meeting you has made my life much better." His words made me feel cherished and important. Slowly, I started to fall deeply in love with Stephen. He was so charming and kind. He never once asked about my money or my past. This made me believe he was truly different. He often talked about his own work, saying he had a successful company and traveled for business. He always paid for our dates, never letting me pay for anything. He bought expensive things for himself, which made me think he was very rich and successful. I felt like we were equals, both with good lives. I trusted him completely and felt a strong connection. I thought he loved me for who I was, not for what I had. After about 3 months, Stephen asked me a very important question. He asked me to move into his apartment. I was so excited and happy. His apartment was very big and modern. It had large windows with an amazing view of the city, especially at night when all the lights sparkled. Moving in felt like a big step, a real start to our life together. We spent many evenings at home. He loved to cook, and we often made dinner together, laughing and talking. We would put on music and dance in the living room. Everything felt perfect, like a beautiful dream coming true. One special evening, after we had finished a delicious meal that Stephen had prepared, he surprised me. He got down on one knee right there in our living room. He held a small, dark box in his hand. When he opened it, I saw a beautiful, sparkling ring. My heart began to beat very fast. He looked into my eyes with so much love. "Stacy," he said softly, "will you marry me?" Tears filled my eyes instantly, but they were tears of pure joy. I did not need even a second to think. With a big smile and a happy voice, I said, "Yes, 1,000 times yes, Stephen." I hugged him tightly, feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. I believed I had found my true love and my forever partner. 5. The wedding. The day of our wedding arrived. It was a beautiful day, full of sunshine. We chose a small place for our ceremony. It was simple but very lovely. I wore a white dress. It was not a very expensive dress, but I felt like a princess in it. Stephen wore a nice suit. When he saw me, his eyes shined. He looked at me as if I was the most important person in the world. His smile was wide and warm. My heart was full of joy. I felt so happy. Our friends and family were there. It was a small group, but everyone smiled and laughed. We said our vows. We promised to love each other forever. Then we danced. We danced for a long time. Stephen held me close. I thought this was the happiest day of my life. I believed all my dreams had come true. I had found true love and a wonderful husband. Everything felt perfect. After the wedding, we went on our honeymoon. Stephen planned a trip to Paris, France. It was a dream come true for me. I had always wanted to see Paris. The city was so romantic. We walked along the river Seine. We visited famous places like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre Museum. Stephen was very thoughtful. He bought me small gifts and always held my hand. He planned lovely dinners and surprises. I was amazed by how romantic he was. I thought I had finally found peace and happiness with him. My life felt calm and full of love. But slowly, after we came back from Paris, things started to change. It was a very slow change, so I did not notice it much at first. Stephen began to spend a lot of money. He bought many new and expensive things. He bought new watches, each one very fancy. He bought new suits made from expensive cloth. He also bought a very fast and costly car. Sometimes he would buy new furniture for our apartment or expensive art. I did not understand why he needed so many new things. I thought he already had enough. When I asked him, he always said it was for his business. He explained that important businessmen needed to look successful. He said these things helped him make more deals and meet important people. He told me it was an investment. I trusted him. I did not ask many questions. I believed him completely. He was my husband, and I thought he knew what was best. I thought he was a smart businessman. I just wanted him to be happy and successful. I did not think about the money much. My money was now our money, and I trusted him with it. 6. The bad surprise. Stephen started to change more after our honeymoon. He had spent a lot of money, and now he needed more. One day, he asked me for money. "Stacy," he said, "I need a small amount for my business. I will pay you back very soon." I felt surprised. "But I thought you had your own money," I told him. He smiled. "Yes, I do." Just some small problems with the bank right now. Nothing serious. I believed him. I trusted him completely. So I gave him the money he asked for. I thought it was just a small, temporary problem. However, days passed, then weeks. Stephen asked for money again. This time, he asked for a larger amount. He said his business needed more help. I started to feel a little worried, but I still loved him. I wanted to help my husband. He began spending many nights away from our apartment. He told me he was working late or meeting clients. When he was home, he often hid his phone. He would turn it over quickly if I walked near him. He also became very quiet sometimes, and he did not smile as much. I tried to ask him what was wrong, but he always said, "Nothing, my dear, just business stress." One evening, Stephen was in the other room. His phone was on the table, and it lit up with a new message. I did not mean to look, but I saw the words. The message was from a woman. It was an angry message. It said, "Where is my money, Stephen? You promised to pay me back." My heart began to beat very fast. I picked up the phone. There were more messages from different women. They were all angry. They all asked for money. Some of them were very old messages. I felt a terrible sickness inside me. These were rich women just like me. When Stephen came back into the room, I held out his phone. My hands were shaking badly. My voice was very quiet. "Who are these women, Stephen?" I asked him. He looked at me. His face was cold. He did not look like the man I married. He did not smile. He did not say he was sorry. "You want the truth?" he asked. His voice was hard. "I needed money. You had it. You were easy to love." Tears started to fall from my eyes. I could not believe what I was hearing. "So you used me." I asked him through my tears. He gave a short, cold laugh. "Yes," he said, "and now I want half of everything you have." The world around me seemed to stop. My happy life, my love, my trust, it was all a lie. 7, the court. Stephen filed for divorce. He wanted half of my money. My heart felt broken into many pieces. I had trusted him with everything. Now he showed his true face. His words were cold, and his eyes were hard. He truly believed he deserved my money, the money I had won. The pain of being used was worse than any sadness. I felt foolish for believing his lies, for falling in love with a man who only wanted what I had. I knew I could not let him win. I had to fight for what was mine. This money was my chance for a new life, not his chance to get richer. I found a lawyer. Her name was Ms. Davies. She was a strong woman with kind eyes. I told her my whole story, from the lottery win to Stephen's cold words. She listened carefully. She said, "Stacy, you have proof. We can show the truth. You can keep your money." Her words gave me a small light of hope in the darkness. We started to prepare for court. It was a long and hard process. There were many papers to read and sign. I had to tell my story again and again. Each time, the pain came back. I felt nervous and scared, but also determined. I wanted justice. I wanted Stephen to understand that he could not just take from people and get away with it. The court battle began. It lasted for many months. Each time we went to court, Stephen was there. He looked calm, but I knew he was lying. He tried to make me look like the bad person. He said I was greedy. He said I did not love him. He pretended to be the victim. But Ms. Davies was smart. She showed the court the messages from the other rich women. She showed the bank records of all the money Stephen had spent and borrowed. The evidence was clear. The truth came out slowly. Everyone in the courtroom could see Stephen was a liar. He had planned everything from the start. He only wanted my money. Finally, the day came for the judge's decision. The judge spoke clearly. He said Stephen would get nothing from me. He would not get 1 penny of my money. When I heard those words, a huge weight lifted from my shoulders. I took a deep breath. It was over. Stephen looked at me with hate in his eyes. He said I would regret this, but I did not care. I walked out of the court building and did not look back. 8. My new life. After the divorce, I moved to a new apartment. It was smaller than the one I shared with Stephen, but it felt much bigger and lighter. It was quiet and peaceful, a true home for me. The walls were a soft, light blue, and I put many green plants near the windows. Every morning, I woke up with a calm feeling. This apartment was truly mine, and it felt like a fresh start. I decided to find a job again. This time, I did not need the money. I had enough to live comfortably, but I wanted to work. I wanted a daily routine, to use my mind, and to meet new people. I found a part-time job at a small bookstore downtown. I loved books, and talking about them with customers made me smile. It was a simple job, but it made me feel useful. I worked 3 days a week, giving me time for other things. My money was still there, and I thought about how to use it well. I gave a lot to different charities. One charity helped women who had difficult marriages, like mine. It felt very good to support them, helping others find new beginnings. I also started to learn new things. I took a cooking class, making delicious dishes. I joined a painting class, finding joy in creating art. These were things I always wanted to do. Now I had both. Then I began to travel, exploring the world. I went to Italy first. I saw ancient cities, beautiful art, and ate wonderful pasta. I visited Japan next, experiencing a different culture. I saw beautiful temples, walked in peaceful gardens, and tried many new foods. I traveled alone, but I never felt lonely. Instead, I felt free, strong, and excited to see the world. Each trip taught me something new about myself. Sometimes, Stephen came to my mind. I would wonder where he was, but I did not feel angry or sad anymore. I had learned a big lesson. Money could buy nice things, comfort, and freedom to help others or travel. but it could not buy real love or true trust. Real love came from an honest heart. Most importantly, I learned to trust myself again. I had survived a hard time, and now I was stronger and wiser. This was my new life, peaceful, full of hope, and truly mine.